We even made the comment, hopefully today is not the day that something major goes wrong. Something major went wrong. Good morning. Welcome back to Ohrmundt and Talls. This is Chris. All right, it is Saturday morning, and the name of the game today, hay. But no, today we potentially might get done with first crop hay. So we're gonna head down to the shop, and I need to look at the rake a little bit. Dad wants to narrow it up a little bit, and not like not the width of our finished row. He wants to narrow the arms in a little bit, that notch, because what does happen is as you're going along, those things are, those wings are at an angle, okay, to pick up hay and then roll it into a windrow, bring it together. But sometimes when they're in that one notch out, it does tend to, it puts you in a little bit of a sticky situation where you might get a little close to the next row and start grabbing that and stuff like that. Sometimes narrowing it up just a little bit kind of helps you with that. First thing to note, since we've gotten this thing back, the 2030, it seems like it just sips fuel. Like, I know Dad did at least about 45 minutes to an hour raking, and then he used it the other day. I don't remember the last time we put fuel in it. It's been like a week or so. And I mean, we've put 3 or 4 hours on it, and it seems like it hasn't hardly lost any fuel whatsoever. It's awesome. So, or it's just because we haven't used it in so long and we're not used to it. All right, how do we move these things in and out? It's actually kind of clever, and I need the jack to do it. All right, so this little tab here, you set your jack down on it. And then pin it in place. You don't necessarily have to pin it in place. Actually, I don't want to pin it yet, because I got to get this over the top. If you were going to widen this out a hole, you would set this paddle up against here. You probably don't need to pin it, but safety is our first concern. And then you crank this back down as if you were going to lift the jack up. And I just need to start taking the pressure off so I can take this pin up. Okay. And now you just keep cranking. Is the arm with the wheels on. So lift this up just a little bit. You don't want it full pressure on the ground. Makes your life a lot easier. Okay, now we'll crank this back down until that hole lines up. Slip our pin back in. And these are a little bit different pin for it. Once it's on, then this springs back and catches, and it doesn't come out as easy. So just like that, and that guy's in place. Now we just back this off. Then you go back up in front to the turnbuckle, and you find that you're really close to this hole, and you slip your pin back in, and you should be with minimal adjustment. When this is all said and done, that should be pretty close to what you need. This bar here, they got the SMV sign. SMV sign is in the way for cranking, so you flip that out of the way. But what this is you put this, there's an L and an R, and a T. T is travel. So you put it in here if you're going to travel a long distance and you want to lock it in place. If you want to put just the right side down, you use this guy, and 99% of the time, both sides is this one. So that's how you do that. All right, we're off and rolling. A little adjusting on the windrow width. Dad wanted it narrower. I think it's too narrow. are booking along pretty good. Wind rolls are looking nice. A little bit of green underneath, but with the breeze we got going, it should turn out pretty good. As we move a little further this way, there are a couple wet strips in here that even as of yesterday, Dad left a couple of ruts, small ones, while he was cutting, and they had a little bit of water in them. So when I see them, I ain't stopping for them. All right, so just the way it worked out, I've got that row left. So we're rolling everything doubles. So like I showed you at the shop, how I just put the right one down, we'll actually set it up. Just take that pin, and there's 2 holes on this side, and then there's a slot on the other side. We just put it in that hole, and then it slides over right here. Now when I set it down, I will just have the right side goes down and the left side will stay up. All right, so for today, I think my raking is done because we now have about anywhere from 3 to 4 hours of baling ahead of us. So Dad's right down there. He's been going for about half hour, 45 minutes. And I told him make sure he starts on the west side and leave these wet east strips for last. So Dad did say he thinks we have the rows set just right. And for that tractor and that baler, that's a good size windrow. It does look like Dad's getting a little bit wrapped on the PTO shaft. I should probably catch up to him and clean that off for him. Well, I'll get one bale moved. Dad just called, said he broke something. Let's go find out what it is. Well, that sucks. And we're on a roll too. We even made the comment, hopefully today is not the day that something major goes wrong. Something major went wrong. So on what would be the left side of the bale, or the, like, say, driver's side of the baler, is the majority of the chains and drives and all that stuff. Everything, and then there's one chain on the opposite side. All the chains on the right side spin, or all the chains on the left side spin. Sorry. So there's like what, 5 or 6, 4 or 5 of them or something. So they all spin. The pickup head spins, but none of the rollers move, and the chain on the opposite side does not move. So we either sheared a key or we snapped a shaft off. Because Dad was about to start a bale, and he said it sucked in a big wad, and then it kind of grunted, and then it just kind of, he said he heard a little something, and then nothing. So, yeah, that really effing sucks. Because we got like at least 2 hours of baling left. At least. If not more. Probably closer to 3. And we might be able to do some baling tomorrow. But we will be racing. We will be racing to get it done before it storms. So, well, down to the shop we go. Okay, and not sure if it's related or anything, but for some reason this roller is totally wrapped in hay. I'm not sure, again, if that's all related, but son of a beach. We will start figuring this out. Great. Hey, good morning. All right, so it is just before 9 Sunday morning, and I did not record anything. I actually forgot my camera at the farm, and last I recorded, Dad had an issue out on the field. Well, this is where he ended. That was the last bale we did. We did not finish this chunk. We still have these rows here yet, so probably another, the way it's going, another hour on this field, and then that one, and then up there. So we baled like 66 bales yesterday, and there's probably at least another 66 out here. And we had what we would consider a major. That's mostly dry. There's a little bit of dew in the hay. I'm out here checking the hay. But we had what we would consider a major malfunction on the baler. And you'll see that for whatever reason, Dad went to go start a bale, and it must have been just a little bit wet. And when it sucked up, it wrapped around this one roller and then pinched between the 2 rollers, snapped the shaft. So that whole roller assembly in itself is like $650, $750, $800, something like that. And I think those are used. So we're at the shop. So let's discuss where we're at. So this is our current situation. The part of the culprit was, now some of this might be wet from dew, and honestly that's soaked because I was drenching it with water, but there's a lot of that reed canary grass in here, and right when he was picking up, some of that did have a little bit of moisture in it, but it was quite a row. He was trying to feather it, but all of a sudden it grabbed a huge chunk. We did get it cleaned out. You should see that clip of what this roller right here looked like. It was completely wrapped with all of that hay, and it was not coming out at all. I mean, we took our knives and we cut the hay on this side so that you could pull it out a lot easier. It was not coming out. I mean, I went down there and I was pulling and pulling. It was not coming out unless it was tearing, and some of that stuff was not tearing either. But what broke? that shouldn't do that at all. And no spinny spin. So that side we were able to get the bearing housing out. So we got that bearings off. As we come to the other side, this bearing did not want to come off very easy. The inner race is actually still on here. So Dad was trying to torch the outer race of the bearing, and then we had to pry it off and all that stuff. So now we're trying to get it to actually fall out. That's why there is a slot in the bottom in this horseshoe shape on both sides, so that that whole roller assembly can drop down and go out the front of the baler. Needless to say, even if we get it fixed and running, the search for a different baler has drastically increased in priority level. All right, I'm back at the farm. Can't remember if I showed or not. We did get that roller out. It took a little finagling. And yeah, it is broke. So we're gonna, I mean, it's Sunday, so we gotta wait till tomorrow for Dad to make some phone calls. We got a hold of Zernike Farms. They're the ones that do our combining in the fall. They do some custom baling and asked if they could come today. They actually have like 15 acres of second crop that they're gonna bale, but they're raking that up right now, and they said they would be able to come and do ours. Not sure if they're gonna do that right now or in a little bit, but they said they should be able to do it. Well, we are still waiting for the guys to come out and bale, but as we wait, we decided we'll come out on the same field that we're gonna get baled and pick up some bales. That way, whether we're either gonna be at the farm or we're gonna be on the field when they get here. So yeah, works out. Well, I do need to move the cows yet, and this is just going to be a flip around the corner here. Dad's unloading that load that we just grabbed. And we are crossing our fingers that they show up fairly soon. The future radar doesn't have anything popping up for another 3 hours. So again, fingers crossed. Boss. That went really well, and this paddock that they just came off of turned out like how we want it. You know, they ate a bunch, they trampled a bunch. It looks like they either ate it or they trampled it, and that's what we want. You know, could they have eaten a little bit more out of here? Sure, if I would have forced them another day, they probably could have done another day. Actually, coming onto this one, you can see some of the old thatch that they hooked with their feet and pulled up. But there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of, I mean, just like this one, there's a lot of ryegrass in here. A lot of ryegrass. The clover is down in there. Definitely a little bit different from what they were eating because they got their juicy butts again. But that's all right. They'll get used to it. They made it. They're bailing. And again, down here it's a lot wetter. And actually this bale was through that wet spot. He's actually got mud on the rim. But we don't do net wrap, or our baler doesn't have net wrap, so this is gonna be kind of cool. So this is pretty nice. I don't know how many wraps are on here, but those are solid bales. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so it seems to be going pretty darn good. They definitely have the setup for it. This probably has maybe an hour to go yet, but going good. So for us, kind of, sort of, we're done with first crop. So a shout out to Zernicke Farms. They're just a little bit west of us. They do our combining for us. And they don't usually do custom baling that much anymore because they have so much of their own. But they said if they can fit it in, they fit it in, and they were able to fit us in today. So that was really, really nice. They still made 4x5s. These are net wrapped, and they are solid. You know, because our baler is a little bit older, we have the pressure turned down just a little bit. These are turned up. He baled 60, 64, 66, something like that. We ended first crop with about 567, and we need to be in about that 450 range. So an extra 100 bales, that's going to be really good. Now we just have to hope we can get some resemblance of second crop. We will hopefully have a little bit of corn silage, so we won't need quite as much second crop, but we still want some, obviously. So, but it is Sunday. It's Sunday evening. It's the end of the video. I am hungry because we were waiting for them to get done, and plus we wanted to watch. But hope you guys liked the video. If you got any questions, please leave them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button too. Helps the channel. Same with subscribe. And thanks for coming along.